Good afternoon once again. We are really happy to have here our next guest and the next speaker. That's Pierre Leibovici. I hope I pronounce well your surname, and also I hope that I will pronounce well the name of your project, because you will be speaking about how Mediacités worked with its communities to find local solutions to COVID-19. I will briefly introduce you. Pierre manages engagement projects at Mediacités, a local investigative news organization based in Lille, Lyon, Nantes, and Toulouse. He works along with the readers to get story tips, questions, and feedback to better serve their needs and improve the impact of Mediacités stories on local democracy. And we are really looking forward to your presentation. So, floor's yours.
Thanks a lot, Alice, and the pronunciation is perfect. I confirm both for Mediacités and my last name, so so thank you. Can you all see my screen? Yeah. Okay, great. Nice to be here with you, even if I'm calling you from France. So I'm in Lille, in the north of France, where Mediacités is based. Just a few words about the work we do at Mediacités before speaking about the solution we explored during the pandemic. So Mediacités is a local-based news organization. We produce both investigative and participatory journalism. We have 4 local editions in France, and so far we have been producing more than 1,500 investigative stories since our creation in late 2016. It was just 4 years ago, and we are supported by more than 4,000 members who pay for our journalism and represent most of our revenue today. So a few words about how did the pandemic outbreak happened in France and what we were into at Mediacités. I think it's important for you to just to know that Mediacités produces slow-paced journalism. We really are not into hard news, and we were 100% dedicated to produce political journalism, because in France at the mid of March we had city elections, so our reporters were all working on that. And 2 days after the first round of city elections, the lockdown was imposed in France by President Macron. And so we had, for the first time in our short history, we had to react very quickly without doing any overthinking. And so this is how we ended up in publishing a special landing page about the COVID-19 just the day after the lockdown was imposed. So this is not the main solution I want to tell you a bit about today. This is the first part of the solution we just found. On this landing page, we decided to really rely on engaged journalism. So we were asking our readers to ask questions about what they wanted to know about the COVID-19, because we really thought that answering simple questions was the best role we could enroll, in these times of anxiety. We also ask people for their help, for their expertise, and we also produced some explainers about the virus in our cities. So this is the first things we introduced in I think the 2 weeks after the pandemic outbreak, came in France. But a few days after launching that, we had 2 main concerns, two big questions, inside our team, and one of them was how we could ensure we produce the journalism our readers need in the long run, in the course of the next weeks after the outbreak. And we also were a bit worried about the COVID-19 fatigue. So maybe now everyone, is speaking about the COVID-19 fatigue, but I think that in France, even 2 weeks after the lockdown, people were already tired, after hearing about the virus. So we had these two main concerns. And here enters the solution we ended up in. And so this is what I want specifically to tell you about today. We decided to survey our members, only our members, not our non-members, about what they were thinking about the way we were speaking about the COVID-19, what kind of journalism they were expecting, and we were basically asking them, shall we turn off, the COVID-19 TV, and should we speak about other topics than COVID-19 on Mediacités? So this survey was interesting in many ways. First, it revealed that our members, so our core audience, our most loyal readers, were not expecting practical journalism, like explainers and answers to questions. They were more waiting for analysis and solutions to the pandemic, local solutions to the pandemic. And so this is what we decided to explore, So the solution I want to share today is how we just introduced solutions journalism on Mediacités. So it was really striking for us because you must understand that Mediacités is producing investigative journalism. We are more into exposing the wrongdoings rather than just saying these things might be good, might be reproduced, and are efficient to answer to local problems. So it was a complete change in terms of mindset for our team. So a few weeks after that, we launched a new landing page, not about the pedagogy about the virus, but about the solutions, the local solutions that were born about the virus. And so we asked our readers 3 main questions. So you can see them here, such as what has been revealed by the COVID-19 that we should keep? And did you spot around your house any local initiatives that could be inspiring and replicated in other cities? And this question was particularly interesting for us because as we are based in 4 cities at the same time, it was a great way for us to try to identify other solutions and if these solutions could be replicated. And we also asked our readers if they had any expertise related to this initiative. So we received some support from the Solutions Journalism Network to build that work, and we were happy because as I said, it was completely new for us, to just deal with solutions journalism. And in the end, we have been producing 14 solutions-based stories. So in the course of 3 months, and we surveyed again our members during the summer, and 70% of them told us they were just satisfied about our new kind of solutions journalism, the kind of solutions journalism we produce. So just 2 examples for you to better assess what we mean by solutions journalism at Mediacités. For example, we produced an investigation about an initiative in some towns in France for local residents to bring meals to homeless people in the streets, and they were bypassing the traditional NGO and food distribution chain. And so this was particularly interesting for us to explore this solution, not only to say, wow, this is incredible and this is a revolution for food distribution in France, but also to better understand who were these people who were involved, and if their initiative could be just replicated elsewhere, and how long it could last, without any support from the traditional NGOs. And another example of solutions-based stories we produced was about an online platform that was built by independent movie theater in France that were trying to compete with Netflix because the movie theaters were closed, and so they built a platform in the course of 2 or 3 days just to attract new audience and also their more loyal audience. And this is the kind of stories we have been speaking about, which are completely different. Usually we produce stories about corruption and things like that. So it was really a revolution for us at Mediacités. So maybe just a few more words about how did we do that. It was very important for us to get pedagogy, about what we were doing, why we were doing that. So we tried to be very transparent with our readers about why we were introducing these solutions journalism stories. But I think the most important, even more important, was to explain our team and our freelance journalists what we were expecting, with this solutions-based journalism. So we produced a small guide, a short guide that was available publicly on our website and dedicated mainly for our freelance journalists, just telling them what was solutions journalism for us, what did it mean, what it wasn't, which is very important, I think. So, for example, we were telling them we are not looking for heroes, but we are looking for strong initiatives that have a proven efficiency, in our cities. And I think this was very important, really for our team, our internal team, our permanent staff, because it was a way for them to have a better understanding about solutions journalism. Even I have been trained to solutions journalism a few months ago, but I think it was still hard for us to really to assess and to realize what it could be, what it could look like on Mediacités. So this is why we produced that guide. We also had to work quite hard to transform all the contributions we get from readers when we were asking them to identify local initiatives. So to transform these contributions into stories, into pitches for solutions-based stories, it was quite hard. And so for that, we relied both on technology and humans. The technology was just to ensure we could very well categorize all the contributions we have been receiving. So we used tools like Airtable and Slack to just to direct, all the contributions to the relevant persons, to the relevant local editors, and we also had to work quite hard because not everyone was among our readers had a good understanding about what solutions journalism could be. So this is what we had to deal with. So in the end, what has worked for Mediacités? I would say that the main lesson, the main thing was we introduced solutions journalism on Mediacités, and this is the most important thing because we explored this new kind of reporting, and we also have been working with new journalists during that process, journalists that were specialized into in solutions journalism. So that was very interesting for us also to improve the diversity of our reporters. I also think that the surveys we have been sending to our members were a great way to build trust, and Tara Kelly was speaking about trust in the previous session, and I also think this is one of the biggest challenges, you know, in these times of anxiety, to try to to build that trust with new audiences, so I think that just by asking people, what do you want to read? Are we doing well? Well, these simple questions, you know, were so important at the time, and gave us also ideas about what we should do. I would say also that the pandemic and this work on solutions journalism was possible because we could build on existing technology for Mediacités, especially the participatory tools we have been introducing in the past years. So we were lucky that we had these tools, you know, at Mediacités, and yes, I think this is also one proof of efficiency. We have been receiving awards for our work during the COVID-19, especially one last month from two main legacy news organizations in France. So I think this is, yes, this could also be an evidence that this initiative worked, but we also met limits. You know, everything wasn't fine with this experience. I would say that the harder part was really to create a buy-in among the organization, you know, to make the senior reporters understand what solutions journalism was and why we should do that, you know, because I think that some of them still think that solutions journalism is positive journalism, you know, which is nonsense for me, but we still have work to do about that. I also think that it takes more and more pedagogy to explain your readers why, what do you, how do you think your organization could do solutions journalism? You know, there are many definitions of solutions-based journalism, and at the local scale in France, I think that most newspapers, local newspapers who do a kind of solutions journalism are just doing the promotion of local initiatives, companies or associations, and they are not trying to understand, you know, with long form analysis what works and what doesn't work with some initiatives. So we also have to better explain our readers what we were expecting. We also could have better say thank you to all the contributors. I think this is important when you ask people to spend time for your journalism, and so we sent like automated emails to every contributor, just saying thank you. But actually, I think we should have, yes, find a better way, and I still didn't find it, to just to bring them with us, you know, maybe to organize some webinars, I don't know, about solutions journalism for them. So yeah, this is one thing. And last, I would say that we didn't see a concrete correlation between these solutions-based stories we introduced and the rise of revenue, the rise of membership. So because at Mediacités we rely on a membership model, we indeed had an increase in the terms of new members we got, over the course of the pandemic. But these people we're not converting to members more with solutions-based stories than with traditional investigative stories. So this is something we still have to explore, to better understand how solution journalism could help to build revenue. And maybe if I have 2 minutes more, Alice, I would just.
We have already questions, but just 1 minute, okay?
Okay, 1 minute, just to summarize the 3 lessons we've been learning with this experience. I would say that this is maybe a bit cliche, but these times of crisis were really a great moment for us to experiment with new editorial formats. Really, I think we couldn't have done that otherwise. I would say also that mixing participation and solution journalism is still a hard thing to do, because of this misunderstanding some readers could have about what solution journalism is. Last, this is a question, an open question I still have. I'm wondering if solution journalism is not a format that could more increase the loyalty, of the existing readers, rather than attracting new audiences. So this is an open question. I still don't have any answers to that. And I'm listening to your questions now.
Thank you very much for interesting presentation. We have a question actually that is connected to what you said in the end of your presentation. Michael is asking if 70% of readers like the stories, there are still 30% left who might not have liked it. Did you increase the readership due to the new kind of reporting and or lose others? We've already answered the first part, but have you lost any audience?
No, I didn't think we lost audiences because these people read other types of reporting on our website. And actually, so 70% were saying they like this kind of reporting, but we also had I think it was 15% of our members, our existing members, that told us, I didn't read anything related to COVID-19 on your website. So we know we can't have 100% satisfaction, but we didn't see a decrease in our memberships. On the contrary, we gained almost, I would say, yes, 800 new members since the beginning of the year.
I'm sorry, I'm muted. I'm sorry. Tara is asking, in your experience, does it take longer and require more resources to produce a solutions-oriented investigative story than a normal investigative story?
That's a great question. I would say it took a lot of resources at the beginning to really to do this introductory work about what are we expecting. So more coaching. I think it took more coaching, yes, for the reporters we were working with. But in terms of the time spent producing the stories, there is not a rule. Some of us are sometimes, working on single investigations for several months. So I would say solutions journalism is definitely not more time consuming than a traditional form of journalism.
You were speaking quite a lot about the necessity to change the mindset of your staff. And from your face expression during those parts when you were speaking about it, I would guess it wasn't very easy to implement all those things into your editorial policy. So how hard it was?
Yeah, that's a good reading of my facial expressions. It was quite hard, but at the same time, I'm really lucky. I'm working with people that are open-minded to the extent that they like us to explore things. You know, they. I think some of them are still not convinced about the benefits of solution journalism, or maybe some things that this is not something for them, but for other types of journalists. And I'm okay with that, you know. I think that some journalists don't like to do investigative reporting. They, of course, are not bad journalists for that. So it was hard at the beginning, but in the end, we we had some success because we published in the end, you know, 14 long form stories based on solution journalism. And one thing I just forgot to tell you about, we also reproduced that experience of asking our readers for solutions during the second lockdown that was imposed in France at the beginning of November. So I think, yeah, we even if it was hard, Mediacités is open-minded enough to experiment.
It is another issue I wanted to ask about. How many of the answers from your audience were useful for you to write an investigative, not investigative, solutions-focused report?
That's a good question too. Actually, a lot of questions were similar. A lot of contributions were similar. You know, for example, about local food or the rise of bicycling, for example. So we had to regroup some of them. I remember we received almost 200 contributions. You know, in the course of 2 weeks when we asked for solutions. And so 200 contributions. After that, we ended up in, it was 28, yes, 28 potential stories we could produce. And in the end, we produced 14 of them. So yes, it's more than 10%, you know, of the contributions we received led to a concrete article on our website.
And especially since you are a platform that is more focused on investigative reporting and, as you said, corruption and all the wrongdoings, I can imagine on the local level, even though, of course, you are operating in big cities, so it's not such a local or community journalism. Still, it is more the regional one. Where your readers more interested when asking or when offering their insights and their contributions, potential contributions, where your audience members where your audience members, I'm sorry, more inclined to offer you those negative stories, even though they know that it's for the solution journalism?
I would say we don't have the right metrics today to answer precisely to this question. So this is difficult to say. What I wish we could have done is just to send surveys to our non-members to better understand their relationship with solution journalism, because we only surveyed our members. But I'm sorry, I don't have the figures to answer you about this.
What are your future plans with the platform? How to make this solution journalism part viable in your other editorial plans?
Well, as I just told, we try to reproduce that platform, but we simplified it, and I think we are not only about the COVID-19, but we are going to launch more collaborative investigations in the next month, and I think part of the focus will be on solutions journalism. We don't want to only focus, our participatory work about solutions journalism, but yes, in next February we plan a new collaborative investigation, and we'll do that partly based on asking for solutions from our audience.
You were also speaking about the funding you got during the COVID pandemics. This kind of funding, was it from your members or even advertisers?
So no from advertisers, because we don't have any ads. At Mediacités, 80% of our revenue comes from our readers contributions, and the last 20% come from B2B partnerships we have for licensing content. So we sell our content to other national media. The most one of them is called Mediapart. So this is a national investigative outlet. And so during the pandemic, during the first weeks, we really missed something. I think we were quite shy with asking people for money, in this tremendous time. But we saw actually a rise in new memberships after that, and we also had more donations from our members during the pandemic. So that was also interesting. This is not a big amount, but I think we had like 5,000 euros in donations from our existing members. So it was quite a thing, for us to feel that we were supported by the most loyal people to Mediacités.
Thank you very much. And since we are also very near to the end of our session, have a nice day, and of course, good luck with your journalism. And I hope it will be even bigger and bigger, your platform, and there will be the increase within your audience and membership, of course. And especially since I have very fun memories of Lille, where I was for the first time as a journalist for my first international journey. And I met there my husband, my future husband. I would never said that we will get married, but it worked. So I am really fond of Lille, and I wish you good luck also personally. And thank you all for watching our session about the COVID-19 impact on journalism, and definitely join for another sessions. So thank you very much, and goodbye for now.